told you guys I was going to show you how to make some beef jerky. So this is going to be my attempt at making beef jerky on the Traeger. I found some, so this is a London broil that was sliced up thin. I've been marinating it in the Dale seasoning all night. So all I'm going to do is put this on the tray. I'm going to very lightly season it, very lightly, and then we're going to put it on the Traeger and see how low I can get that temperature. The trick is to cook it on a really low temperature, because all you're trying to do is dry it out. You're not trying to cook it, you just need to dry it out. So the lower the temperature is, the better it's going to turn out. The Traeger has my Traeger anyway, my little small tailgater model, has a hard time maintaining a temperature under 200 degrees. Even when I've tried it in the past to keep it way down, it still spikes up over 200 quite a bit. If I go 200 or higher, it maintains the temperature very well. So I'm going to try to adjust a little bit. I'll show you guys what I'm doing to try to keep that temperature down, so that we don't end up actually cooking our beef jerky into beef crisps and actually turn into beef jerky. So here's what we're going to do. So like I said, I've had the meat marinating overnight. So we're going to take some paper towels, and we want to just lay the meat out and just kind of dab that meat off so it's not super wet. So I got these super cheap food prep gloves on Amazon. Super cheap. And perfect for doing stuff like this, so that you can move from one thing to another without having to constantly keep wiping your hands off on paper towels and washing up. So here we go. You can see it's pretty thin. So it's very thin sliced. Shouldn't take a crazy long time to do. So take our other paper towel and just dab it off. So it doesn't have to be bone dry. We just want it to be dabbed off so that it's not really wet. So if you're slicing this meat yourself, you're going to want to stick it in the freezer for about 45 minutes before you try to slice it. That'll firm it up and let you get some really nice, even, thin slices. Alright, so the seasoning I'm going to very lightly season it with is going to be this McCormick all-purpose seasoning. It's Himalayan salt, black pepper, and garlic. I use this stuff on steaks. It is really good. Used on steaks, hamburgers, really any kind of beef. And this stuff is tasty. So I'm going to just gently coat these with that. Dale seasoning is going to put a lot of flavor into it, so I just want to very gently sprinkle some of this on so that we don't ruin it by over seasoning it too much. Alright, just going to do the tops because, like I said, I don't want to kill it with the seasoning, so I'm not planning on flipping these. I'm going to try not to flip them. I'll see how they're turning out and decide if they need to flip once we get them on the grill. But I don't think I'm going to have to flip them. So I'm just going to do the top, season the top. That way I don't overpower them, you know, with a lot of seasoning, make them too salty or mess them up. All right, so my goal is to keep this thing hopefully 180 degrees or below. We're sitting at 177 now. You can see I got my tongs in here, kind of propping that lid open a little bit just to crack it open and let a little bit of that heat escape. I'm not sure what it's going to do to my pellet usage, so I'll keep a sharp eye on that and make sure we don't run out of pellets. But I'm going to put these things on and see what happens. The tray is perfect for what we're doing here. So So I think this is really going to work good. I hope it does. I'm going to kind of be back and forth checking on it, make sure our temperature doesn't spike way up, or make sure that it doesn't burn out. But I think leaving that lid cracked will allow it to feed just enough pellets where just to keep a low temperature without burning out. So, all right, let's see what happens. All right, so the jerky's been on now for a little over 2 hours, and like I said, it was really thin, so it's not going to take as long. If you cut it in like 1/4 inch strips, it's going to take probably closer to 3.5 to 4 hours, or maybe even a little bit longer depending on how it's cooking. But using the tongs to prop the lid open has worked out perfect. You can see it's at 172 right now, and it's basically staying between 160 and kind of 175 degrees. So that's worked out great. Let's take a look. Well, I mean, it looks like beef jerky. So you don't want it to get crispy on you. You still want to be able to, you can see when you bend it that it's starting to, it is dried out. So some of our pieces over here. Now all I've done, I didn't flip it. All I did was kind of come out and check on it. If I noticed that my pieces on the edge looked like they were starting to get a little more done than the ones in the middle, I would just kind of move them around a little bit. But I come out like every 20 minutes to check on it, just to make sure that everything was looking good. So I'd kind of peek in on it every 20 minutes. You can see these pieces in the middle definitely look more jerky-like, a little more dried out. Those were over by the edge, so I moved them around and put them back in the middle. But it's getting really close to being done. All right, so I decided to leave it on for about another 20 minutes, just to get it a little more dried out.
Looks good.
Yeah, that's much better. So that's going to end up being a total of about 2 hours and 45 minutes that I've had this on there. So the next step, so it's not going to be really hot. I mean, you know, the grill's not very hot at all.
Yeah,
so
175.
you know, it's warm to the touch, but it's not scalding hot. And you can see when you break it, you can see it's dried out. So now Dylan's going to hold this bag open. The next step is to take the warm jerky, put it in the bag, and just let it rest with the bag open, and just let it kind of steam out, and let it cool, and you're good to go. So let's put this in the bag. You ready?
Oh, one more step you forgot to add at the end. Then you eat it.
Save a piece out and let Dylan be a little taste tester for us.
Looks good if you ask me.
All right, Dylan, here it is. Taste test. Ready? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's really good. And the longer it, oh, you're gonna take that? Hold on.
Yeah.
You can't have it all. And as it sits in the bag and steams out, it'll just kind of get more and more flavorful. So you can see it's starting to steam out in the bag now. So like I said, you know, it's not scalding hot, so you're safe to put it in the bag. Just leave the lid, just leave the top of the bag open and let it cool, and you'll have you a delicious bag of beef jerky. About 2 hours and 45 minutes at between 150 and 170 degrees. I mean, the grill is really fluctuating a little bit, but keeping the lid cracked open really helped maintain a little more steady temperature. I didn't get those spikes in temperature that I typically get when I keep it sealed up. So worked out great. Wonderful smoky flavor, not over seasoned at all. So that's it. That's all there is to it. Dylan's going to knock out that last little piece.
Yep, it's good.
So we're going to take this inside. We're going to let it cool off, and looks like we got us a snack for tomorrow.
Yeah.
for tonight. There's really nothing to it. You know, the only thing I used was Dale's marinade, that little bit of that salt and pepper garlic seasoning that I showed you at the beginning. You know, not a whole lot to it. The biggest thing is to keep the temperature as low as you can keep it, because what you don't want is for the meat to cook like a steak. You don't want it to cook. You just want to have that low heat with some air moving across it, so it just dries that meat out, turns into jerky.
Yep.
So, all right, is that it?
Yep.
All right. Thank you guys for watching.